Nicknamed the Show Ponies by Chris Madrigal, I have two of our very newest recruiters with us today, Phil Michaelsen, and Jim Turek. Atlas All Access starts now.
From Kirkham at 0450.
Okay, their names aren't really Phil Michaelsen and Jim Turek. There's Ryan Turek and Joe Michaelsen. But as we've hired so many people, it's been hard for me to keep up with names. If I associate them with golfers, it kind of works, even though I'm not that big of a golf fan. So, Ryan and Joe, welcome. Thank you for joining us today. Supposed to be Ryan and Mike, right? Just because I volunteered him, but somehow he took a long lunch, so now he missed out. So
you get me now.
So Joe filled in. So why don't you guys tell me? Let's start with where you both kind of came from, and then what attracted you to this industry in the first place.
I was originally in sales with Omaha Neon Sign Company, and Corey Anderson is a good friend of mine, and he talked about the family atmosphere and how it's a little different, that we try to take care of nurses in a different way than most other companies, and we're a team. So being a big sports fan and playing my whole life, I mean, that was a big thing for me, and you get a lot of support, and that it's been nice and has been proven to us since we've only been here the short amount of time, but anyone is willing to drop everything and help us, and that's a big thing.
So the golf analogy kind of works then, is that kind of, right?
Yep. It does work.
Yeah, all right. Well, and I mean, obviously you're not wrong, and that's something that we've really tried to do since the very beginning. And that Corey, you would probably attest to that too, right? I mean, it's that it's no one person's job is more important than any other person's job, right?
It's awesome. I mean, anytime you ask a question or need someone to look at something, you can go to anyone in the office. Yeah, we have mentors, but it's been anyone and everyone will help you at any time. I mean, it's amazing.
Cool. And then Joe, where did
I came from Northwestern University, and then most recently, though, UNMC, and doing financial administration in both those hospitals. So
Northwestern and then finance. Kind of smart. You're a little
that way seems, above me on that.
That
one.
seems above all of us here, honestly. Yeah.
Yeah. And so I'm good friends with Matt Polinsky, one of our client managers. And,
that explains it.
There you go. He just always talked Atlas up. I had other friends in the industry. They liked what they do, but I never heard all the good things from those other companies as I did Atlas.
Yeah, that is true.
And I had the opportunity to meet some other employees here through Matt, and I could see the family atmosphere, the teamwork. That no one's job is more important than the others. And piggybacking off of what Ryan said, everybody it's one big team. People drop what they're doing at any given time to help us new people out. We have our mentors, but everybody is seriously a mentor here.
Cool.
So it's really cool. It's been fun.
So a month in? Are we a month in yet? Is that so? A month in. Let's talk about kind of, because no industry experience whatsoever.
Correct.
Talk about like your take right now as the industry sits, because there's definitely a feeling out there that, well, and I don't want to taint this whatsoever, right? So talk about what you feel like the industry, where we're at right now as a whole.
I mean, coming in, it seems like there's a lot of people that are either currently traveling or have traveled in the past. I mean, so you reach out to a lot, and some are in different parts of their careers. So, but I mean, for me, it's been a challenge, but it's nice to talk to people. I mean, that's the one thing. You get to meet through a phone conversation a lot of different people and different backgrounds and what interests them in traveling and why they're traveling. So, I mean, so far, I think the industry is great. I've heard that it's in a kind of a lull right now, but obviously that can change around, and I think it's coming soon.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I've heard. The summer's been a little slow, with the expectation that's going to pick up this fall. I think that's, from my understanding, that's pretty typical. But we'll see it. And like Ryan said, it has been a little slow, but it's been fun. It's been challenging. It's been fun to get nurses on the phone and figure out what they need, what they want, and just help them as much as we can. I like to tell my nurses that you guys take care of people all day, all the time. So let us take care of you.
Do you feel like the industry is in that position right now? When you're making those phone calls, you're sending those emails, you're doing the text messaging every single day, does it have that feel to it?
I don't know. Some days you get a lot of responses, and some days you don't. I don't know if that's because of people are already on assignment or what it may be with the industry. But I mean, some days you'll be like, "Oh, I haven't got anyone," and then the next day you have 15 people that are looking. I mean, it's kind of just as more you put out there, the more you're going to get back.
Mm-hmm. Oh, absolutely. I have days, sometimes just half days that are really slow. Can't get a high back, and then other days where it's like you're just completely overwhelmed with the number of contacts. So we're new. We don't really have much to compare it to.
Right.
So.
Well, and I can tell you from experience, that sounds like a typical day.
Yeah.
Like that doesn't sound like the industry's in any kind of lull whatsoever.
Right.
I don't. There were definitely times like I lived through 2008, 2009, which you've probably heard about. Like it was bad.
Yeah.
Stock market crashed. Hospitals rely on endowments that are funded through the stock market to pay those bills, and it just because the stock market crashed, they cut things, and the very last person they paid was
I can imagine that would be tough.
was us, yeah. And so it was, you were, as a client manager, we were not getting calls back. As and then you heard it from the nurses on the other end. There's that desperation.
Yeah.
There isn't that desperation right now.
No, I'll agree with that. I mean, a lot of the nurses either are traveling or are not looking at this time or have traveled. I mean, it is what it is for some of them, but you still are getting enough nurses that are wanting to put a profile or at least looking for something. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's still a lot of people responding to our messages and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, I have half a dozen good conversations. It seems like every day. So yeah, maybe it is technically in a lull. We don't know that with having no prior experience. To me, it seems great. We're busy all day, and we could stay 24 hours a day and never get bored.
No, that's
Never
days
run
fly
out of people
by.
to talk to, yeah.
They really do.
So what you're telling me is you could stay 24 hours a day?
Joe
Mark
said
me
that. I
down.
didn't say that.
Okay.
Joe can stay 24 hours.
Hey, there's night nurses out there that
Exactly.
It's seriously though,
Exactly.
some of my best times to talk to nurses is after 7 o'clock in the
It does
evening,
work
so.
that way.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit, because I think that's one of the interesting things as you come into the industry that maybe some recruiters aren't, some people that have had experience or that come into the industry aren't used to is there's no 8 to 5. No. This isn't a Monday to Friday gig, right? I mean, it doesn't, at least with us, right? With us, I don't care what time you come in or what time you leave, as long as you're getting your stuff done.
Yep.
Then that's you as long as you're doing what you said you're going to do. That's what's important, right?
Yeah. Like nurses aren't 8 to 5, so we can't be 8 to 5. Every day, usually stay a little late, pick up my daughter from daycare, feed her. Once she goes down, I find my most efficient time of the day is after 7, 8 o'clock in the evening when the kids are down. So that's.
Yeah, I definitely agree that I get a lot of responses. Like I'll send them, it might send it at 11 in the morning, but they don't respond until 8 or 9 at night, which is, I mean, fine. That's what great with text messaging and stuff, or even phone calls. But that's why we say we're available all the time, and you almost have to be. I mean, they understand and respect that you sleep and have a life too. But I mean, a text message is really easy to respond to. But I do get a lot more, at night or wake up in the morning, and there are some text messages that have come through at 3 in the morning or whatever it may be.
That's what there's the industry has changed, and I wish you guys had that insight. And maybe it's good that you don't. That it really has changed so dramatically over the years that it really. I mean, there was a time when it was you really could hammer the phone from 9 to 5 Monday through Friday and make a pretty decent living and run a decent desk of 20-ish or or whatever, and and then rotate through a couple of nurses. You have a couple that are loyal to you that work day shift that could that would respond in those times. It's not like that anymore. It's not even close to that. And it's so fascinating to watch a new class, to watch you guys come in and see how differently you instantly operate versus how when I came in, or when when Seidner came in, or Kurt or Ryan or any of the guys that have been around for a while that are used to that kind of day, that kind of structure. Completely different.
Yeah, and I feel like all of us have different approaches to everything. What works best for some don't work for others, and I don't know if it has changed a lot, but I know none of us are I mean, we all send texts, but what we say is probably pretty close. But then after that, I mean, everyone seems to be on their different, and everyone seems to be succeeding fairly successfully quickly.
Once again, the mark of a decent. I don't want to say it's great, but I want to say a decent job market, right?
Yes.
I mean, it's August,
Yeah.
and it's the lull of the summer has passed. It's always the market kind of goes like that anyway. We've always seen that. Now, coming out of 2008, 2009. It didn't have that. Across the board, it was kind of just good after that because hospitals had money, nurses needed jobs, agencies had money again, everybody was awesome, right? But then it kind of fell back into that pattern, and now we saw it dramatically this year again. And it's interesting to hear your point of view, from that.
Yeah, I mean, we've just basically heard it, and that's what people have been saying. But then everyone's like, "It's gonna pick up. Like, you guys will be amazed how quickly this comes."
Yeah.
And it, then it just picks up, and that's where people jump from, 10 to 20 or whatever it may be that your number's at.
Yeah. So give me an idea as we're going into August, September, October now, as fall months, which is ridiculous to think, right? Kids go to school
I know.
in a couple
We'll
of
start- I was
weeks.
gonna say.
Yeah. It's unbelievable that we're here already. Give me an idea, like how are you structuring your day in accordance with that pickup? Because we know it's going to happen. We know that it's already happening. How are you structuring your day?
My mornings are typically just follow-ups from the previous day or previous week, just reaching back out to nurses that I've had contact with, following up with references to get profiles put together. That usually takes a morning, with all the follow-ups, and then afternoons I focus on new contacts.
Yeah.
So
And I'd say mine's fairly close to that. I mean, I try to, if I need a reference to finish a profile, I try to do that first. I mean, but most part, I go through my text messages, and if someone said, not interested or whatever, I'll go in and put the notes to make sure that, and then follow-ups, like, Joe said. And then, I mean, trying to finish a profile is, the number one, so that you have that ready for when a job pops up that they're looking for.
Interesting. Yeah. Because it's coming. And I mean, and they're not wrong. It's simply just a matter of how the industry flows.
Yeah.
So, all right. So then, in a very short, as a very last question here, in a real short, give me your pitch. Tell me, because there's lots of nurses watch this. We know they do. Give me your pitch.
I just say, I'm Ryan Turek with Atlas Med Staff. I came across your information about interest in travel nursing. I know I'm probably not the first one to reach out, but I'd love to be of any help. If you need anything, feel free to text or call me. I'll do anything to help you.
yeah, pretty similar. I just introduce myself in a text. Typically, just say, "Hey, I'm Joe with Atlas Med Staff." I know you get a lot of these calls, emails, and texts. So whenever's a good time for you, you get back to me, and we'll talk whenever's a convenient time for you. So,
Do you lead with the text usually?
typically, lately, I've found my most success with that.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've called too, but I feel like, and I do the same thing, and I think a lot of people do. When you see a number that's from a different area code,
Yeah.
you're thinking spam right away, so you don't answer it.
Right.
So it almost, at least a text, they get an idea of who it is, and then I think it's just easier. And now in technology and everything, a lot of people text way more than they talk on the phone. So
Yep.
it's kind of like, it's the easiest way to
Yeah.
get the information across without having to leave a voicemail. Because even
Yeah.
the voicemails, I feel like they
It feels
don't.
intrusive to them too. I think.
Yeah.
So
And that leads me to our Facebook post of the week.
This is the Facebook post of the week.
So Facebook post of the week comes for us from well, let's be honest, it's a group that we're not welcome in anymore. But I still think there are nurses on there that have good questions that just haven't found hospitable groups to be in yet, right?
Yep.
They're still in this group. There's a ton of them. If you want some, contact me directly. Wanderlust, Scrub Squad, and Traveler Talk are three of the best that are out there right now. You don't have to put up with the negativity that's on this group in particular. But the post of the week says, to all recruiters, don't call me, I'll call you, Slammer. You're not wrong. You're not wrong at all. But I think that if you guys, and being new, if you lead with the text first, right?
Correct.
You lead with the text first, and then you work out that call later.
typically works better that way. But I mean, there are still some that like the phone call first. But like that, we kind of follow that guideline right there.
Right.
we ease
Yeah,
in with the text.
it's easier that way because then it's in her court of when she can call,
Yep.
and it's not don't feel like we're pressuring anyone to have to talk right then or whatever.
Right.
Right.
Lead with the text first.
Yep.
I would bet if you led with the text, because she looks like a very reasonable person, if you led with the text first, you would have a much better opportunity
Yes.
than you would with just leading with the phone call.
I'd agree.
Right, and there are some decent comments here. There's also some they call me nonstop comments, right?
Yes.
Well, and I've read this multiple times, like an unwanted, and this is just the product of the culture we're in right now. An unwanted phone call steals your time,
Yeah.
right? And so, and quite honestly, and I mean, my industry, your industry, our industry, it's full of unwanted phone calls, right?
Yes. Right.
And you're stealing someone's time. Now, if you texting first, I think that's it came about in such an odd way in our industry. And once again, I wish you guys would have been here to see it. And it's almost better that you haven't seen it. But it was almost this weird. It's hard to even explain. Like at first, it was like, no, this is like weird, like even before Tinder, obviously. But like. I got your phone number and I thought I would text you first, like weird stalker boyfriend or something, or whatever, and very quickly it became the norm.
Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, for a nurse, I feel like you said, you're stealing their time if they have to talk on the phone. I mean, you can get a lot more across, I think, in a shorter amount of time by texting.
Yep.
Especially them when they're busy, say they're in the OR or whatever it may be.
Sure.
I think it's just very quick for them to say, I'm busy, I'm this, I'm that, instead of answering the phone, and then we're trying to ask them questions. So,
Let me know when you have a job in Oregon.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Right? And
you
then-
get a lot of that too.
Yep.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's fine. At least they're responding. We were talking as a class, like, as long as they respond, even if it's a no, you're getting some action, which is nice.
Yep.
Instead of hearing nothing for a whole day, which happens too.
Well, back to like they don't have normal 8 to 5 hours.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
shooting them a text at 9 in the morning, there's a good chance they're either working or sleeping.
Correct.
So
Right.
they respond when it's a convenient time for them. So if you call, you almost know, 99% of the time you're not getting somebody else on.
You're
the
not
other
gonna
side.
get an answer.
You might get a voicemail.
Yeah.
Maybe. A lot
But-
of times they're full.
Well,
Everyone I seem to call is full. They probably do it for a reason. I would too, I
They
guess.
keep
Yeah.
it full. I'm
Exactly.
Sure, 'cause they
So
don't
no
want,
one can-
they don't want
yeah.
more voicemails.
right. Well, or it's a number, because TravCon's coming up.
Yeah.
It's a Google Voice number, right? And don't kid yourself. Every one of those numbers and this is for other agencies out there. And man, if you haven't picked up on this yet, I feel bad for you. Every one of those nurses that comes to TravCon has a Google Voice number and a fake email address.
Yep.
Every time you scan one of those badges, it's bogus information.
Yep.
Like if you're going there if that's what you're going for, you're gathering information that's not going to lead you anywhere.
Right.
But
Yep.
it's just a product of the industry. It's a product
Yeah.
of how things have gone.
Yep.
So Joe, Ryan, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. We will put their links right here to their Facebook page, and I'm sure Dolan and Jamie will put them right here for me. Here,
Right there.
Maybe now they have to because I'm pointing right here. Facebook page, to their bio page on the website. Do either of you have groups, Facebook groups yet? Have you
Have
started?
not started that.
No?
Have
Nah.
not a personal Facebook. I have both actually, and they can,
Find you that way.
either one. I don't.
Another easy way to connect is right through Facebook that way, and to find out if it is such a personal relationship, and you guys will find this out along the way. That recruiter-nurse relationship is such a personal
Oh, yeah.
relationship,
absolutely.
and the best way to find that out is go stalk them on
100%.
Facebook.
That's it.
Go
yeah.
stalk them on Facebook, and you'll find out that maybe Ryan isn't the best guy for you because he doesn't like the right sports teams. I don't know.
Oh, here we go.
I don't know. Maybe I really don't know. But maybe Joe's the right guy for you because he does like the right sports teams and he went to
Oh.
Northwestern and he's going to Chicago
Chicago
this
thing.
weekend. I don't know. Maybe that's
Go
right.
Cubbies.
No. Oh, come
Right?
on, Tigers.
I don't know.
Figure it out.
Look, I don't know. I don't know. So, thank you, fellas. I really appreciate it. So it will be a lot of fun to watch your careers grow here. It's already a good time. It'll be a lot of fun to watch you guys grow.
We apprciate it.
Thank you.
I appreciate you
Thank
guys
you.
here. So, all right.
Alrighty.
Right.
We'll see you guys next week.